Well, tensions are rising in Washington, where Congress is preparing to meet tomorrow to certify President-elect Joe Biden's win. At least 13 GOP senators, however, plan to challenge the Electoral College count, which Mr. Biden won 306 votes to President Trump's 232, driving a major wedge into the Republican Party. Nancy Cordes has the latest developments on Capitol Hill.
This is about the integrity of our elections.
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley cheered on a growing movement last night. Republicans who plan to contest the results tomorrow without evidence of fraud.
I believe there are serious questions with respect to the presidential election.
Despite attempts by Senate Leader Mitch McConnell to talk them out of it, at least 13 GOP senators have joined the cause, including Georgia's Kelly Loeffler, who spoke last night at a rally with the president on the eve of her special election.
I will object to the Electoral College vote.
The effort has dismayed some Republicans, like Ohio's Rob Portman, who noted that not a single state found evidence of fraud or irregularities widespread enough to change the result of the election. Another Republican, West Virginia's Shelley Moore Capito, warned that refusing to count a state's electoral votes in the absence of such evidence would disenfranchise millions of American voters. Kevin Kramer of North Dakota agreed.
I come from a red, small state. I don't want to have our votes overturned by other members of Congress from other places. I don't see in the Constitution where we even actually have that authority, quite honestly.
But President Trump slammed Republicans like him yesterday, dubbing them the Surrender Caucus.
People will remember the people that don't support us.
He even upped the pressure on his own vice president, who will preside over tomorrow's joint session of Congress.
I hope that our great vice president comes through for us. He's a great guy. Of course, if he doesn't come through, I won't like him quite as much.
Mr. Pence made it clear he won't disappoint.
We'll have our day in Congress. We'll hear the objections. We'll hear the evidence.
But Vice President-elect Kamala Harris argued none of it will change the outcome.
Let me just tell you something. We're going to be inaugurated, period.
I know you're going to be inaugurated, but when you see what...
And Nancy Cordes joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Nancy, with 13 Republican lawmakers now on board, does the GOP have the votes at all to prevent Joe Biden from being certified as the winner?
It does not. That's still a fraction of Senate Republicans. You've got maybe half of House Republicans. It could end up being more than half. But at the end of the day, they would need a majority in the House and Senate in order to overturn even one state's Electoral College results, let alone enough states to change the outcome of the election. And when you've got all Democrats and many Republicans opposing this plan to challenge Electoral College results, it means that this movement, while causing a lot of controversy here on Capitol Hill, is not going to change the outcome of the election.
You know, in your story there, you pulled out one of the president's tweets where he called those lawmakers who wouldn't back who wouldn't back the 13 or so lawmakers who were agreeing to go against the vote, stumbling through my words, but he called them, I gotta look down, Surrender Caucus.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about why some of these senators are willing to pursue this really sort of unorthodox, probably unlikely to succeed, most likely unlikely to succeed approach? What is it that they are afraid of? Do they think being called the Surrender Caucus is going to cost them their jobs, that their constituents will no longer support them? What are all the considerations that may be going through their mind when they are looking at making a decision tomorrow?
Sure. Well, it never helps to be in the president's crosshairs, but even more broadly, it never helps to appear to your base that you are turning your back on them. And there are clearly many in the Republican base who believe that this election was fraudulently resolved. And that's not true, of course. There is no evidence of that. But these voters have been told that over and over again by the president, by many of his supporters here on Capitol Hill for weeks. So it's it's no surprise that they now believe that. Take the case of Florida's 2 Republican senators, for example, Marco Rubio and Rick Scott. They haven't announced yet what they're going to do tomorrow, but think about the situation that they are in. Marco Rubio has been willing at times to separate himself from this president, but he's now facing the possibility of a challenge the next time he's up for re-election in 2022 from Ivanka Trump, who is moving to Florida and who is believed to be considering a run. That could factor into his decision about whether he wants to satisfy that base that would be, very open to an Ivanka Trump run, or to stand by what he and so many other Republicans have acknowledged weeks ago, which is that this election is over and Vice President Biden, President-elect Biden now, was the winner. That's why you've got some Republicans, Vlad and Anne-Marie, and this is what's really the most stunning, you've got some Republicans who acknowledged the election is over, it was fairly decided, Joe Biden was the winner, and now, weeks later, they're suddenly saying, I'm coming on board with this effort to challenge all of the results. So logically, it doesn't make sense, but politically, it might.
Man, Nancy Cordes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.